Let's go see Lobster Pro!
Yeah, and we're not gonna... So, in the previous episode, we just unlocked Takumi, which we will probably not be using. There's certain instances where he can be pretty abusive. God, that armor. Where he can be pretty abusive because the type advantages in this game are pretty ridiculous. So the type advantages make sense when you think about an RPG where, you know, the only deciding factor in the outcome of battle is stats, where inputs don't matter as much. But in a game where inputs matter, those types of advantages can be really, really abusive. So archers having an advantage against flyers is obscene in this game. So, if there's a battle primarily composed of... It's Kellum.
Look at this dude's hat!
Yeah. If it is a battle primarily composed of flyers, then using Takumi is going to be pretty abusive. So we may want to put some levels on him off-screen, just to make sure, but overall, I don't think we're going to be using them, because they're almost as bad as the mages, whereas they don't really have any good combat use outside of getting crits on flyers. And the mages are even worse, because the mages don't have an advantage against anything, really. So, the mages are just bad. Like, there's no real reason to use Robin or Leo. So we will probably not do so.
Oh, Leo's the other. I was like, who the fuck else plays magic?
Yeah.
Leo exists. I'm sorry.
On a horse, he does. Alright, so let's deploy some other characters, because... the hell with... Well, we have a pretty good cast right now, because three of these characters we want to continue to put levels on.
It's just one that we don't, but I don't think we really have anyone else to put in that place.
We may. Let's see what we can... Nope. Okay. Do we want to... In terms of who's playable, what do we have in this fight that we can take advantage of? There's a couple of flyers, some wyvern riders actually. So,
go back. I want that.
You want that?
I want that.
It reminds me kind of Selena, the chess piece, a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's actually put Takumi. You know I do. Okay, so shout outs to my friend Mike, who I just recently met, who is the other horror cosplayer. And what I mean the other horror cosplayer, he's like the only other one. Like if you Google Fire Emblem Meridian Dawn horror cosplay.
He cosplays horror?
Yeah, he's the one that I told you about, the one other one I found. And I found him on the Ye Olde Fire Emblem cosplay group. And he has made so many great obscure Fire Emblem characters. And he's not afraid to gender bend. So he's cosplaying Vida from Blazing Sword. I'm like, fuck yes. I love this guy. And I completely hit her away. So, we're going to put Takumi in there in the playable position.
You just know homo?
I guess.
You just know homo.
I guess I did. I think I'm going to play as Rowan for this, too. Let's,
I'm sorry.
What the fuck? Alright, let's begin.
I said that, my brother's girlfriend was like, I love that parrot. And
yeah.
I'm like, that's exactly what I'm quoting. Oh, speaking of Kellum, I had to explain to my coworker what, like, that there's an actual trope of, like, actually being there and nobody noticing you. Because he
Bastion.
Bastion, Kellum, he has this problem. He legit was...
Look at that armor.
He legit was standing right in front of people, and, they're like, where's Will? And he's, like, standing right there. And I'm like, oh, no.
He already has, like...
He already
has the bald hair and everything, too.
He admits it. Hold in on it. I keep forgetting how to walk.
God, it's like one of my favorite moves is Rowan is like this, air juggle thing. You know what's funny is Rowan and Leanna play a little bit like Nero does in Extella, but I will say this about Fire Emblem Warriors, that the gameplay is honestly kind of a relief. Like, it plays better than I feel like it should. It plays better than I feel like it has any right to be. You know what, Lucina? You come with me. I'm gonna make something useful out of you.
Not Marth.
Yeah, she's not Marth anymore. She's actually Lucina. But like I made that joke with the Lucina with the mask that we had at MomoCon. I was like, look, it's not Marth, and they seem to be okay with the joke. Oh, she just took a hit for me too, which is nice. Thank you for being useful. Yeah, as we were saying at the end of before the end of the last episode, Blazing Sword is just amazing. And I was talking to Mike about Vida too. I was like, man, that was a character who I was like terrified of when they first showed up, because the mission where you would fight her, she also, look at this stage. This stage is gorgeous. The stage where Vito shows up first. She's on the enemy team, of course, and you're actually not supposed to fight her. You're just supposed to survive a couple turns, and if you stay a certain distance away from her, she will never bother you. But if she does come into your range, she will like guarantee kill whoever she fights, because she's that strong. And then the fact that you could recruit her later, I was like, oh my god!
She will fuck you up.
Yeah, because like I didn't even realize she was on the map until she moved into range of one of my characters, and then I heard Rise to the Challenge, the boss music, and I was like, oh god! Time to get out!
So who did she kill first?
I don't remember, because I obviously reset after that. I was not about to let that happen, but it was bad.
The stage is pretty cute. I want to go. I'm lost. I want to go down this little.
So, okay, the door to this fort finally opened. I was like, let me capture the fort.
Ooh, talkies. Can I call them talkies?
The talkies.
So I discovered that they have a guacamole talkies.
Oh yeah.
They're pretty good.
Are they really? I wasn't expecting them to be.
One of my associates bought it, and she was like, do you want some? And I'm like, free food? Yeah, fuck yeah. Sorry, I know we're not supposed to have food over there, but she ate it and went. She was eating it.
It's worse that like
break.
It's worse that like there's food being left in the area, and it's technically a food service area.
Right.
But enough about that.
I get fed. I have a hard time complaining when the food is given to me.
Right.
Sorry.
Especially apple fritters. I fucking love apple fritters.
Crom is having a
Where
jewel.
am I?
I don't know. I'm not trying to pick it into your screen.
I'm lost.
Yeah, honestly, like, as simple as they are, I could play as Rowan or Leanna all day long, because they honestly just have some of the best movesets out of anybody in this game, which is surprising considering they're the starting characters, but it's pretty much the same way with Lucius and Aurora and Dragon Quest Heroes.
I think they're cute. Like, I don't actually really hate their characters.
I mean, there's just not much of a character to them.
Right.
Like, they're more bland than Lucius and Aurora, because at least Lucius and Aurora have, like, the Fire Emblem syndrome of, like, one character trope that they just repeat over and over again, whereas Rowan and Leanna don't have that. There's nothing quirky or distinctive about them at all. They're just kind of the young, naive... yeah, like, there's nothing really defining about them, whereas Lucius and Aurora are quirky as hell. And I can't wait to have my Lucius cosplay done, because right before DragonCon I'm gonna make like a dumb video in that accent and just be like, I've heard this is a DragonCon coming up, so I'm told there will be dragons there. And just try to be as quirky as possible.
Go. Oh boy! Oh boy.
I'm hoping they'll let me through this door soon so I can capture this. See, that's one thing that's a little bit frustrating about the maps in this game. The mini-map is visually intuitive, but there's almost no distinct way to tell like what the boundaries are or how to get into a particular area, so I pretty much spent all this time going up into this area and have no way to actually progress. I'm assuming we have to address the objective that's in the center.
What is the objective that's in the center?
It's probably...
Join up with Ryoma?
It's Ryoma fighting somebody just like in the core Fates games. But how to actually access that is probably restricted, so we can't just go into the center of the map.
Question.
Yeah.
What happens in Fates? I'm kidding!
Do you remember what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, so...
I'm so sorry.
When you fight... When you... Maybe this only happens in Conquest. Maybe you're not familiar with it.
Actually, there is a pinned up fight, but I think it's Xander and Ryoma? Guys, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I haven't played it in like a year.
More than that, technically. 2 years.
But I mean, I was playing Revelation.
You wouldn't get out that far though, and that chapter probably didn't happen again.
I was getting close to the end. I wanted to recruit all the kids, but I got annoyed.
Lend me your strength.
I got tired.
Lucida's being useful and joining me. But anyway,
Frederick needs no help.
so when you fight
Frederick is catching all the hands.
when you fight Ryoma in Conquest, he locks himself in a room with Korin. What the hell is happening here? So he's here. He's fighting the dragon, the Wyvern Lords. So I guess the Wyvern Lords are Norian. I guess that's what's happening here.
Xander does that as well with Korin in Birthright. Except the fatal blow at least
Yeah,
does the hit.
yeah.
You know what irritates me about that fight? And why I got really mad at Birthright?
Why?
So he kills his own sister by accident, and her dying wish was, "Don't hurt Korin." And he goes, "Alright, Elise.
How about I do anyway?
This is your dying wish." Come here, Korin.
Yeah, he literally was like, "How about I do anyway?"
And that's what irritates me. I'm like, if you were so upset about your little sister dying, you would have stopped. What are you saying, Lobster Bro?
He pulled a God, why can I not remember their names from Nier?
I don't know if you ever played Nier.
I'm having a moment, guys.
I have all the moments.
Devila and Popola. He pulls a Devila and Popola. He's like, "Stop! We're not gonna stop now. No one stops." Even though like their sibling just died.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's fucking Xander.
God.
Does that happen in Conquest?
No, it doesn't happen. What happens?
I mean, obviously not her dying, but does any of the Hoshido?
Oh yeah.
Pass?
Oh yeah. So what happens in Conquest? This is total spoilers, by the way. Cover your ears if you haven't finished Conquest.
If you
But
haven't.
because we just spoiled Birthright for you, so fuck you.
Yeah, Conquest is obviously better. I'm kidding.
It's not for story reasons. It's not, but for gameplay reasons, it is. But
It is,
y'all know that
correct.
story already. So
Hey, Ryoma.
what
Aw,
happens?
I can't whack it.
What happens is you fight Ryoma in a steel cage match, just like I described, and then when you win, obviously Korin up until this point had been trying to keep the Hoshido siblings alive, even though he was literally marching the Norian army through their territory and cutting each of them down and being like, "I'll try to find a way." So like he tries to spare Hinoka by like taking her spear and saying, "You have to run. I'll give this to them saying that I killed you." And of course Iago, being Iago, does the obvious thing and says, "Why didn't you bring me her head? I'm not convinced that she's actually dead," which is pretty sound considering that Korin has been very untrustworthy up until this point. So with Ryoma, he's like, I'm gonna try to spare you. You don't have to die from this." And then King Garen walks in, and Ryoma's like, "Oh no, fuck you! There's no way that I'm gonna die at your bitch ass hands." And so he commits seppuku and kills himself, which sucks, but it's honestly pretty badass because he was just like, I'm pretty sure we talked about this in the Final Thoughts video we did like 2 years ago. But I just thought that was pretty awesome because he's like, "Ain't no way I'm gonna let you die. I'm gonna die by your hands."
I can respect that.
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for Ryoma as a character.
He's pretty badass.
I wouldn't want to die to King Garen. Garen?
Yeah. I mean, he's
I
like,
can't remember his name.
I mean, he would rather have had Korin finish him off than to die to King Garen. Like that's how strongly he felt about it. And honestly, yeah,
I don't blame
mad props to him for that because
Yeah.
I'm
better than that.
and I think it was a valuable lesson for it was a lesson for Korin, although it was a lesson learned way too late. Can you potentially try to get to the center one?
Which one?
Because I can't get to there from where I am right now.
Okay, I
If you
can.
can't, it's fine. But
I'm pretty sure I can't. I don't even care the fuck am
Mission
I?
starting.
Oh. Okay, I'm almost done with this, bro.
ooh,
Can't ask for help. It's humiliating.
nice. Good job,
Takame's
Lucina.
like, I can't ask for help. Is he technically a tsundere?
Yeah, he definitely.
Gross! He's not a tsundere I like.
No.
You know, I realized way too late in the game that Seizo was a tsundere, and I hate myself. I'm like, I got a tsundere ninja boyfriend, and I picked the fox.
He's also a Sundari ninja boyfriend who's missing an eye, and that automatically makes him more attractive, as we've established.
Can I get to that? The door's shut. The way is...
Oh, of course.
Yeah, because I'm over here and I'm like... Ow! Hey! No one touches the Frederick. How dare you!
But yeah, we've had some very interesting discussions about the Fate storyline with a lot of friends. Cheyenne made some very good points about it during our Fire Emblem Panel Anime Blast. And then our friend Kat from Florida, she feels very strongly about the... Oh, I can get to it from around the back wall here.
I'm already back here.
Oh, okay.
You
well,
can't.
I guess I'll be there in a second.
Yeah, we're over here I'm hanging out.
We may have to go...
Oh, it just opened up.
Okay, cool.
It was not... Unless it was always opened up and I'm dumb.
No, I doubt it.
The very first.
I will not doubt you.
Thanks.
But anyway.
Watch the footage.
I will. You know I will, but it won't matter either way.
Do I have upper hand on this dude? What do you have? It's a sword.
Oh, so you don't.
I don't, but that's alright, because I'm still gonna try.
Anyway, I think you just like juggled him out of my range of my super attack. Anyway, so I think the important takeaway with the Fate storyline is that yes, it has a lot of flaws, but the fact that we're discussing it on the level that we are, especially even so long after the fact, 2 years later, means that at least it was written in enough detail to be worth talking about, because not all of the Fire Emblem storylines are like that. I mean, sure, I'll talk about Blazing Sword until I'm blue in the face. I'll even talk about the Tellius games until I'm blue in the face. But as a first-time Fire Emblem player playing Awakening, to compare Awakening to any other JRPG, especially when you have stuff like Final Fantasy Tactics to compare it to, the storyline in Awakening is bare bones at best. So the fact that they focus so much on the narrative with Fates, I think, is pretty commendable.
Yeah.
And people like Heather in the Discord were talking about how they're like, oh, I hope that... She made a facetious comment about, not meaning to, but she made a facetious comment regarding the storyline in Fates being bad and like wanting it to be better in the new game. And I'm like, I really think we're a little too hard on Fates. And it's good to be critical of it, but at the same time, I don't think we are giving credit where it's due in terms of the fact that we're having a healthy discussion about the storyline. God, this guy is not taking any damage. We need like a...
Where's Takumi? Let me switch to that shit.
He's not going to do anything either. We need a spear user, really.
Who do we have?
We don't have Noka, so...
There's Sakura. Sakura's here. Where the fuck is Noka? You got it.
Okay, that was a lot of damage. Of course, we have to use the Awakening Gauge to accomplish it.
Where's the Awakening Gauge? Is that the one that you press?
Yeah, if you hit both shoulder buttons, you should probably do that.
I was worried, but we did it. Keep it up.
I'm gonna leave you to it. So this also, because we're fighting some Norian enemies back here, it also reveals the aspect of Fates that I thought was interesting. One of the most challenging fights for me in Conquest is actually the one where you have to fight other Knight-type classes. Like, it's like a, Oh, I guess you have to go back here now. God, this map is honestly kind of terrible. When you have to fight other Knight-type classes, other Norians, that really sucks, because they are just tougher than the Hoshido enemies were up until that point, and you're not cut out to fight them. So, like, generals and other armored units are pretty...
Robin grabbed one of them.
Yeah, good job, bro. Not Robin. Yeah, it was Robin.
Yeah, it said Robin.
Yeah, those enemy types are really tenacious in that chapter, but I think that's an important aspect to Fire Emblem or any strategy RPG like that, is to mix up the enemy variety, and not enough games do that. I mean, in the Tellius games, especially in Radiant Dawn, I just can't attack an enemy because you just come by and like drag him along with your axe.
I'm sorry, I just watched that happen.
The angle was amazing.
I can't imagine what it looked like on your screen. All I know is that I came through and I grabbed him and I took him out of the floor as you were attacking him.
Mission complete.
But yeah, the Tellius games had a pretty great variety of different factions to fight against, but they were all essentially the same in terms of gameplay. Now, you had the Laguz type enemies, but they were never really, or type units, but they were never really enemies, so I don't really count that.
I knew you could take care of
But
yourself.
there's like 6 or 7 different factions in Radiant Dawn, but they are all essentially the same types of units, so it's not quite as diverse as Fates. Like, Fates has like the Golem enemies too, which are really interesting.
Oh, yeah, they did. I'm just
But the
taking it.
game with the greatest variety of enemy types is actually Sacred Stones, because I can't name another Fire Emblem game other than Sacred Stones where you fight giant spiders.
Gross.
And that about sums
It's
it
an
up.
appropriate time to say
Next,
kill them.
we want to try
Yeah.
and meet up with my sister's group.
With fire.
Another world.
Yeah. Hello, Ryoma.
Never have figured that out.
He takes so much.
Sakura.
He's like
he's like two of
What? Why?
their little dude.
Anoka just. Oh, she's hiding behind his shoulder. He takes up
has
so much room.
I'll
He's
take the
like 3 of
Hoshino
her.
and
Yeah,
continue the
his
search
hair
for
doesn't even
Torque.
fit in the frame.
All right.
None of him fits in the frame properly.
I'd expect nothing less.
Looks like we're stuck with you people a little while longer.
These cuties.
Sorry for a bother.
Except for Takumi.
look so
Fuck
worried.
Takumi.
Yeah.
Part of the team now. Yeah.
I played Birthright. I still didn't like him that much because nothing changed. Like, there's no character development with him at all. He's still a little bitch.
He's that much worse in Conquest.
Is he really?
Oh yeah.
Look at my level. Oh.
All I did.
I
was give
can't.
110%.
All I did was better than anyone else. You can thank me later.
I mean, I did come in. Just
No,
like,
that's just Frederick's personality in a nutshell.
It is. I'm gonna fuck you up. Oh. They can be friends?
Let's put our heads together and get through this.
My heart feels strangely full.
It's like, now I know what that feels like.
That's a heart attack.
Oh dear, here we go.
Yes!
A+.
Stronger than fate.
That was fast.
That was really fast.
I mean, their
Like,
bond
I know you
is.
a little better now.
Like, can we talk about like the complete opposite reactions here? He's like, our bond is stronger than fate, and he's like, I guess I know you pretty well.
Still hidden within me. I still.
I'd have trouble believing it myself if I had.
I love Robin, though.
Do you
He's
remember
so
what the
cute.
Temple Sage told us about?
Can we also
this land?
talk about the fact that this is like Kiritsugu talking to Gilgamesh
Is it really?
with the voice actors? Yeah, it's Matt Mercer and David Vincent.
Oh my
Bunch of
god.
heroes. And I'm no hero.
You really believe that?
Haircut.
I thought you were a hero
Yeah.
long before coming here.
You
I
remember
don't know if Christian
back
Freeman
to
is in here
Leeds,
though.
right?
He might be.
If I was a true hero,
Technically, I've
there
met
wouldn't
both
be
of
so
these
much
people.
suffering in my own home. If only I could get stronger.
Regardless of what
I start
happened in the
marking
past,
my armor
you've never
for
been
Jill.
one to just sit
I just
back.
realized that.
you fight with all
should
your
be easy.
strength for the protection of
You have duct
everyone,
tape.
don't you?
Yeah.
The crown of the people, as well as the shepherds
You have
rely
duct tape.
upon.
Yes.
And yet, Lisa's problems remain.
That is how that will
People
happen.
have been suffering since the last war, and I can't do a thing about it. Except
What are you
worry
been saying?
and be a burden.
Oh, look how cute he is.
A burden? Pathetic? You're the only one who thinks that, Crom. If you see someone in need, you help them. Isn't that just your way? Just like when you found me. You had no reason to help me, and yet you did.
That is the only
I
way I
mean-
know how to live my life.
It's those unwavering
He,
ideals that motivate so
Honestly, he
many
had no
people to
choice,
fight by
Robin.
your side.
You just can't find someone
This
in the
is
field
just
that
my
doesn't
opinion,
remember who the
but
fuck they are and just leave
Being a
them there.
hero doesn't mean you have to be
I mean,
perfect.
could you?
A hero is
Don't
someone who
do
cares
it.
for the people around him and who guides them.
Oh, my phone starts
So by
going
that
off.
logic,
It's the
without
Yu-Gi-Oh
anyone
chat.
around, a hero is just a normal person.
That's one interpretation, but still, you're always surrounded by friends.
Oh, by the way, I have a
Yeah.
Slowpoke plushie now,
Right. Because I can't do anything by myself.
and I love it.
It's
That's what
amazingly
you're
dumb
It's
looking.
really dumb looking. Like, I picked it up at
Look how much
GameStop, and
I
I'm like,
rely
I
on
look
you.
at Clinton, I'm like,
Without your aid, who knows
I have
where
to
I'd
have
be.
this.
Oh,
I
come on.
literally.
You're starting to embarrass me. It's the way that you believe in your friends like this that makes me. That's why I'm proud.
What is the Switch trying
I
to
don't
do?
know. I sat on the hand.
Well, if that's the
I
case,
sat on it. I'm
I'll just
sorry.
have to become worthy of the title of hero.
I don't usually
First
sit
step
in a
is
chair, and
saving
I'm
this
sitting
land.
in the chair, and I'm like,
You're coming with me, right, Robin?
Of course. The
I like
future
sitting
you
on
aim
the
for
floor.
will be the path I walk.
Although this is way better
Nothing can
than being on the
stand in our
floor.
way. Let's go.
We're in this together.
probably.
Look at Chrome's essence.
What does it smell like? Hey! Oh, look at that.
Oh, wait, that's the conversation we just watched.
Yeah.
Our bond is stronger
Aw.
than fate.
I suppose
We need to
we've
hang out
developed
more.
a bond of sorts.
I guess that's how these conversations work. One person seems to be a lot more excited about it than the other.
Something.
Something.
Frederick has pebbles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's funny as hell to me.